This weekend, Ryan is jockeying chickens, Andy is playing architect, and we race the streets of a PS1 Mario Kart ripoff. I'm Ryan.
I'm Andy.
And this is Weekend Rental, episode 202. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode. Andy, how have you been? Survived another holiday?
Yeah, like I was just saying that, I was just telling you, our church trip was 3 hours long. So that was, maybe the new Pope can do something about that. We'll see.
It's a lot of church, yeah. Yeah, even for Easter, that's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, mine was good. A little less church, but yeah, we had family over and stuff, so can't complain too much. It's warming up out there, so that's good.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm ready for summer, I think. Get outside a little more, get through this spring yard work hell, and then just enjoy it a little bit. Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of weird this spring. I don't know. Caught up fast, I guess, but
yeah, the weather's looking okay-ish this weekend, at least up to Sunday. So I took half of Friday off. I think I'm gonna go try my luck and camp somewhere for night. I think I'm just gonna camp in the back of my SUV because I don't feel like setting up a tent and freezing my ass off if it gets down to like below 40. But in an SUV, I should be okay. So
yep,
we'll see. That'll be the official kickoff to summer, I guess. If you can camp, you're good.
That's true.
People camp all year round, I suppose, but not me. I don't do that.
I don't know. Yeah, those people are weird.
Yeah, they have campers and heaters, and I don't have that stuff.
They're called truckers.
Yeah, space truckers. I wanted to kick things off with a movie that I saw that came out right after we recorded last time. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called a Minecraft movie. It's based on a video game, apparently. It stars Jack Black, Jason Momoa. It's directed by Jared Hess, the Napoleon Dynamite guy. Probably takes, I don't know, let's just say 40 minutes of its runtime to get you really into the Minecraft universe.
That's what I've heard is like there's a lot of stuff that it doesn't seem like would have been by the trailers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And also, Jason Momoa running constantly around in a pink tutu never happens in the movie. It's only referenced as a fashion accessory early on in the film, and it is never revisited again, which is fine. But yeah, I went in with tempered expectations. It just crushed none of them. And it is an abysmal, vomit-inducing shit show of a film. Like there's nothing redeemable here. I mean, Jack Black says the things like crafting table, and like that's about as much like into the Minecraft world as this is gonna get. And there's just way too much of a plot built around all these characters with little to no payoff that didn't need to be there. And then Jack Black sings like 6 fucking songs for some reason.
Well,
like, this is half of a Tenacious D album. Like, not a joke.
That has to be part of his thing now, right? Like you get a film deal and you get a song out of it.
I guess after Peaches, he's really going for it. I guess the Lava Chicken was probably the takeaway. Yeah, Lava Chicken's the big one here, but I don't know that that's a full song.
I mean, that's not even his most famous thing from that film.
Yeah,
I've heard
is the chicken jockey or whatever thing.
So what was the chicken jockey experience at your
So we went the week after opening on a Sunday morning, and there were maybe 10 people in that entire theater. So it was nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. Yeah, I don't know. I even asked my kids like what they thought of it. They're like, no, it was good. You could tell like they were like forcing themselves to pretend they liked it, but like, no, just don't watch this. Like even when it comes to streaming, like maybe don't do it in one sitting. If you appreciate yourself, just skip this. I mean, none of the acting is bad in it. It's fine. Jack Black's Jack Black, but the story is so stupid, and then there's like 3 storylines, a couple B plots that don't have any relevance that they give way too much screen time to, and none of it's fun. I don't know if I think I laughed out loud once. And the best payoff, if you're a Jared Hess person or a Napoleon Dynamite fan, is at the end of the movie, because as if they hadn't wasted enough of your time, they have to do a what happened to everybody else at the end of this movie. And the one female character opens her own self-defense dojo, and the outfits are very much vote for Pedro, but with a different branding on it. So it's like a great like callback to Rex Kwon Do and Napoleon Dynamite. And that's the nugget of
That's the best
redemption
part
for this film. And the rest, just forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody could see this coming a mile away. Anyway, I mean, it would be a very shocking if anybody came out of here and it was like, wow, this was amazing.
Yeah, I think that teaser like concept trailer was like the first sign that this was not going to be good.
Yeah.
And they just continued to go with that.
Yeah. But I mean, you could have just made an adventure in Minecraft. You don't need to bring
movie.
people into it and have all this weird stuff. Just make a Minecraft movie. Yeah.
I agree. It didn't need to have people in it at all. It should have just, like you said, it should have been like a machinima, but better quality. It should have been the Mario movie, but with Minecraft. Like,
yeah.
Come on, what are we doing here? So yeah, that was a Minecraft movie.
They're gonna make another one, I'm sure, right? It's made a lot of money. Of course it did.
Well, that's going to tie into the other major announcement I read today. We might as well just jump to that because we're talking video game movies. But Sega is coming back with another film because they're going to develop Outrun, directed by Michael Bay. Because remember the great plot and story of Outrun? You know, the game that revolutionized arcade racing back in the day, and just like the amazing story of like drive from point A to point B. Except now I bet there's going to be Michael Bay explosions everywhere. Yeah. And probably some plot with like some mystical thing that is being like, chased down by, I don't know, maybe not Transformers, but something similar.
I mean, is it Sydney Sweeney? She's like, she's the blonde in the Ferrari, basically.
It's like if you're going to tack onto a movie franchise, at least do one that people remember at all. Like I'm a big retro gamer and video game fan, and even I'm like, really? Like Outrun?
Yeah. I mean,
I like Outrun.
It almost has to be a script already, right? Like just a car script or some sort. And then they're just like, well, let's put Outrun. Let's just tie it to it.
But like, talk about a game that has like, it doesn't have a character. It has a car. I guess it's got like a signature style, but like, there's nothing to like,
there's choices.
Licensing here. Well, that's true. Yeah. There's palm trees inexplicably in the middle of roads a lot too. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I looked at that and just kind of shook my head. I mean, I'm all for them trying, but you already know what this film's going to be with Michael Bay. So
I can't wait till Jack Black sings Palmy Breeze.
Oh God, don't give them ideas. Yeah. So enough about me. What have you been up to since last time? Pinball?
Oh.
Did you buy pinball? Please tell me you bought pinball.
I don't know. So MGC, whatever happened this year, I caught the pinball bug. I caught the pinball bug, and it's just kind of been on my mind a lot. And
I mean, I may or may not have like Facebook Marketplace pinball like 25 times since then, and been looking at several tables.
Yes, we're looking at the same ones, I'm sure.
Yes.
And it turns out it's kind of an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it kind of went from a few years ago where it was pretty easy to find $500 to $800 tables that would work, and now it's like mostly working, starting at like 2,500.
Yeah, and if you want like a somewhat modern one with like things to do on the game board, you're looking at 3,000 or 4,000 at least. So
yeah, the best deal I've found so far is that TMNT one that just went up this week for 5,000. I was like, that's probably worth it.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing is you're probably not going to get devalued a lot, you know, if you buy it and you own it, but who knows? I think the large market of pinball enthusiasts are getting up there in age. where
Yeah.
where
But there seems to be this growing dedicated fan base of like newer people too that are like really getting in on the new tables. So
I think so too. When you see the people that have like 7 of them in their basement,
yeah.
it's always like a 60-year-old guy who
Yeah.
has a Corvette too. Or, you know?
Right. So you've just been like eyeing up what's out there and
Yeah.
keeping tabs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing a little virtual pinball on Quest a little bit, but it's not
Sure.
virtual
That's
is just not
about
the
as good of
same.
an experience as you're going to get though, I guess.
Yeah. Just
But
doesn't
yeah,
feel the same. I don't know.
I think the hard thing with pinball is like you want a couple options, right? Because like you don't want just the same table, you want like a refresher. So it's like hard to get like one and like control that addiction, I feel like.
Yeah, because then you're just going to want another one and another one. Yeah.
Right. That's why I almost wish they still had that pinball club. I mean, I guess I can go to any number of breweries where there's many of them set up in town, but like it was nice when that pinball club was right down the street from my place. I could go play, except it was all pay to play, which that gets expensive.
Yeah. That is weird. Because, yeah, we went there that one time and I was like, surprising that you pay for the subscription there, right? And then it's
Yeah.
also pay to play. It's like, what?
It must not have worked though, right? Because like
Yeah.
if it's more lucrative to have those and like put them in a bar and then just collect the cash. So I don't know. Which I guess I get, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Even at $1 a play, it's got to take forever and the maintenance and stuff on them. So,
Yeah. One day I will own one, but
mm-hmm.
maybe we can find a deal where you and I can both like bundle some stuff up.
Yeah, there we go. I want a Godzilla one. That's what I want.
Very expensive.
But those are very sought after, apparently. So.
That is like one of the most. Well, I mean, the thing with Godzilla is like it is popular enough that they're still manufacturing them. So
Yep.
you could just shell over the $12,000 and buy one. Yeah, I don't see the value of that one going down anytime soon. I think that's going to be like a $10,000 table for quite some time.
Yeah. And then you got ones where, like, I saw John Wick already is like $5,000. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
I think they missed the mark on that. Like, I don't think it's like as big in the zeitgeist as they thought it would stay. And then I don't think it's a particularly fun table.
No,
like,
I didn't think so either.
Nothing crazy about it other than the aesthetic. So,
yeah.
But that kind of happens. I still like just keep thinking about that Evil Dead pinball and how great that is. But I'm like, there's no fucking like, and again, like it's just like knowing the maintenance that would have to go into that, and that is not a table I can ever like realistically own. It would just crush your soul. Like every time something broke, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still think like if I could get something even of the golden era, you know, basic table. Something where I'm not just like totally fighting gravity, where there's a little bit of something to keep it interesting. Because those are still pretty cheap. The electronics in them are mostly just like, you know, soldering and cap. You know, there's not like a lot of like, you know, big things. So the score ticker would probably be the biggest thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're both looking at pissing money away on something we don't need. You could start your own pinball arcade with that like compound you have out there. It's insulate part of that Morton building of yours.
Yeah.
Compete with Grandpa's arcade.
It's losing
Daddy's
hand over fist, but at least I have them, right?
Yeah.
I can write them off, I guess.
Exactly. It's a business expense. This is the perfect crime. Yeah. So, well, you've been doing two very similar games, pinball and pickleball.
Yeah.
Those fit hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the senior crowd.
Yeah, it's
60 and up.
I'm starting to see the light, I guess, to all these boomer activities. But yeah, we just got a small net and some paddles, and we've just been playing a little bit here and there, but it's fun. It's
get the kids involved.
Yeah, I think it's also why it's probably very popular with older people. It's a somewhat slower and a good equalizer.
Sure.
Across different skill levels of kids and stuff like that. Because it's basically just a big ass paddle. But you just have to hit a small a slow moving ball.
Yeah. And the court size is a little smaller, playfield. Like, it's not full size tennis court, square sized, right?
Yeah, I think it's, what did we look at? Up 20 by 40, I think. But
So it's similar ish.
our net is only 10 feet wide anyway. So it's just a small one anyway, but fun to do.
Nice.
Good activity to do breakout for spring.
Yeah, especially when you guys live like a little bit out in the country and it's like, well, you're not just going to like walk to the park. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So are you like looking at joining leagues now? Are you taking it very seriously? You're buying like the $90 rackets at like Shields? And
no, it's funny though that you can look at the rackets and they have like people and their name and everything, like they're, like.
Well, and like, I don't know if you've done this, but like I've been to like Target and Shields and like I've held the $20 paddle and I've held the $90 paddle, and objectively I can't tell a difference.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what people are paying for.
Yeah.
It's not like a tennis racket where like, you know, the composite and the strings and the way that they're arranged make a difference. Like, it's just a fucking hollow plastic paddle pretty much.
Right. And it's, I mean, just hit it harder. If it's if it doesn't pop as hard, just hit it harder. It's not that big of a deal when in pickleball. But yeah, we don't even have any around us. I think they were trying to build one near at the park in town by us, but then the neighbors were like, "No, we're not. We don't want that." Because I'm sure if you live next to that, if you live next to that, and all you hear was ta-tonk, ta-tonk,
yeah, that's true.
It'd be so annoying.
But I mean, it could be worse, like gunshots and crackheads, but you know, just in perspective, I see what they're saying though. But I mean, it is like you can totally just it was born off the tennis court, right?
Yeah,
like,
you can
totally
do it there
play
too.
It at the tennis court, yeah, because the net and everything is the same height, is it not?
I think so.
Like in theory,
I don't know.
Interesting.
It's yeah.
I have yet to try it, but like when I was in college, because I'm also not very good at like full court tennis, like. My buddy, my roommate and I, he was way better at tennis. We'd play just like short tennis, which is like kind of the same thing, like just low impact. You just play like half the court and it's just like lob shots and like strategy. And
yeah.
So I get it. It's fun. Gets you moving, but doesn't like kill you.
Yeah.
It doesn't require as much skill, which is nice.
I don't think my knees can take it, but that's another story.
Getting to the age where our knees are going out. That's not great. We did a ping pong tournament over Easter and then bought like a 4 foot tall, well, not that's an exaggeration, a 2.5 foot tall chocolate bunny is like the grand prize. But we did doubles tournament and I was like, this is gonna take forever if we play like proper. Like we're playing to 10, like in and out, and everybody had a good time. I did not win. I think my son and my dad were the winning duo, and then my nephew and was it my sister? I don't remember, but yeah, everybody had a good time. Duo ping pong to me is like hard though, because it's like, I want to go all the time, and then like when I hesitate, the other person doesn't hit, and
that goes between. Yeah.
But we've been talking about pickleball too, like because we live right next to some courts, so I should get the family to go do it one day.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good connection to find a pinball game too. If you chat up the locals at the pickleball.
You're old. Do you also like pinball? I see you have a fancy car out there. What does your basement look like? Well, should we get into kind of like the Switch stuff that's happened? Been some things. Yeah. So the first thing I guess we can touch on is that Mario Kart Direct and how that was essentially nothing. That was like 15 minutes of telling me what Mario Kart is that I already knew, except I can grind on rails, but that was already in the preview too. So, I don't know. Nothing that they spoke about justified in my mind why that was an $80 game. Them saying that camera could recognize 4 faces and have everybody on the screen, a la Mario Kart Grand Prix in the arcades or whatever it's called, is neat. But also, I don't want that, as it just takes up more screen real estate.
Yeah.
And my favorite highlight, which was in the other Direct too, with Switch 2 announcement, but have you caught the homage to Stunt Race FX in that?
Oh
where
no.
you can drive into the back of a semi and then you control the semi.
Oh,
Just like you
that's
do
what
in the
that
bonus
is.
stages. Yeah.
Oh,
So I was like,
yeah.
it's stunt race right there. That's great. And maybe it's not. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but that's very stunt race to me.
Yep. Huh.
I mean, did you see anything out of that even justified them making that a direct?
No, I don't. I mean, I got the gist of all that when they were talking about it on the regular thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, it was like the things that they needed to talk about kind of unsold me. Like the things like driving between
Yeah.
races and stuff. And it's
I
like,
mean, I can't put down my controller and have a drink of soda or go take a piss. Yeah, this sounds great, Nintendo.
yeah. Like there's a way to make that exciting, but I don't think they sold me on that part. Or even like the
Yeah.
open world stuff was like, I don't know.
Yeah, mini challenges. I don't know. That's a ooh, you can jump off a cliff into the water. Like, why was that a highlight? Like, if that's the highlight of your game, you fucked up. What if you drive off a cliff? You can do it. Yeah, okay. Every game lets me do that, including other Mario Kart games.
Yep.
I just land somewhere on a track. I don't know. It looks like a beautiful game. Like watching it made me want to like play like a really high fidelity Mario Kart. It just doesn't make me want to necessarily hand over all my money to play it right away. Which then we might as well get into kind of what we were complaining about last time. Um, I'm not even going to say things have settled down and been figured out with our current administration, because that's completely untrue, and it will be something totally different by the time anyone even listens to this in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, turns out they think they know what's happening with tariffs right now. So I guess they're like, well, we'll go ahead and open up pre-orders for the US and Canada. So that's on the 24th, 2 days from now when we record. Price did not change, however. All accessories went up $5 universally, which I know it's only a $5 increase, but seeing 95 on a pair of Joy-Con versus 89 really hits different.
Once you're at almost $100 mark on that stuff, and then you look at, it's kind of shocking that I haven't been keeping tabs on the Canadian dollar compared to the US dollar.
Yeah, it's
and
not.
Then you look at that and you're like,
great.
That's some rough stuff to look at. But it's all comparative, I guess. But
yeah,
when you're still saying the word dollar, it's like, ow.
Yeah, and I know Fraser has said like he doesn't think the price is too bad, and so I mean, I guess from a Canadian perspective, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, surprised and not surprised. Obviously they don't want to have to hike the price because they know what that will do and the ripple effect. Plus, haven't they like rolled back some of the Chinese stuff on like tech now? Like, so I don't know how a game device like this, if that's computer or like, I don't
know. And a lot of these are made in Vietnam right now, I guess, too. So there's less of that. Because it's only 10. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is like that trend is going to continue, right? Like $5 across the board on the accessories, like that's not going to go away. And then why wouldn't they charge $10 more for a game that gets released in the US than, you know what I mean? If they have to recoup that.
Once they do the baseline stuff, why would they go down? Like accessories don't ever go down.
Well, not Nintendo accessories. Yeah.
But even like controllers, I can't remember ever like controllers getting cheaper over a generation.
Yeah, maybe like the Xbox One was the only one where I drastically remember them getting down to like the $40 mark on a regular basis. But I also think that's just because they redesigned it so many times and the console wasn't selling. So, and I think they were just able to like make a million of more of them because they all like became compatible with Windows PCs wirelessly. But yeah, you're right. Exception to the rule, not the norm. Yeah, I don't know. So have you changed your stance? I mean, we're a couple weeks out. Have you?
Yeah, I know. I'm still not
2 days out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm still not really excited about it. Like, I just don't see the need to get it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Other than my regular Switch is maybe starting to go.
Sure.
The fan on it is about ready to take off, and the Joy-Cons are just all a bunch of garbage. But maybe when that happens, I can't imagine. They seemed like the leading up to this is that they've been making a lot of these already.
Yeah.
That it wasn't going to be a very scarce launch anyway. So I'm not all that too scared about that either.
Yeah. I think I've made the decision that I'm firmly not in the pre-order camp. That doesn't mean that if I'm in a store over the summer and there's one there and I
Yeah.
get a hair at my butt, I won't buy it. But this almost feels like a comfortably wait till the holidays and then maybe call it a family gift sort of thing.
Yep.
Or even longer, depending on what the lineup is.
Yeah.
And
And
I'd be fine grabbing Metroid Prime 4 just for the Switch and playing it. I mean, and I could always upgrade it. You know,
Yeah.
the 3 ways to buy your games: old games, new games, old new games.
at this point, Nintendo has trained us that graphics are not important on a Nintendo game. So, like,
Right.
the,
But they haven't taught us yet what mouse pointer controls are. I mean, is that, do I need that now?
it could be
I don't know.
the PlayStation increasing price everywhere but here is interesting because
Yeah, this is the second time, right? Outside of the US.
yeah, and I mean it's pretty much to cover the costs of selling in America.
Right.
It's
Yeah, which seems dirty to hand
yeah.
off our tariffs to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when the US fucked you? Well, bend over. We're gonna add to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I read that too and was kind of surprised. Like, I mean, I know we're a big market for PlayStation, but Jesus,
Yeah.
that's not the right way to do it. It's not the right way to
cool.
cultivate a loyal, or treat a loyal fan base, right? And that's what people are at this point. If you're spending $600 on a console when a gaming PC is like right there too, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you want to be pushing those people away.
Yep. And all your games are on it.
Right. Right. Except for Astrobot.
Yep. Yeah, it's it's weird. I mean, and all the Chinese stuff is just dropping like flies now too. Like all the AliExpress handhelds, they're all like, don't plan on ordering. We're not shipping right now.
Oh, really?
Because yeah. I mean, when you're at like 100 and some % tariffs, it's just like business is done. There's no trade anymore. You can't do it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like shipping from overseas, like occasionally I've been ordering like stuff from like that Norwegian online shop so I can get like some of their like breads and like candies and stuff since we went on our trip. And I placed an order and I think it like lined up just with like the Easter holiday that their business is closed or whatever. It's like it didn't ship until this week, but typically when I've ordered from them before, like you get it, they give you a shipping notice and that shit's on your door in like 2 days, right?
Wow.
And I wanted to order it before it got too hot because obviously you can't order like perishables or chocolate. It'll just come like melted, right? So I placed this order before summer really hit, but I got a notification today that shit is not coming. It's shipped and it's with DHL. It is not getting here until the 30th. And I ordered 2 packages of mayo. And I don't know a lot about mayo, but I'm pretty sure you can't not refrigerate it and ship it across the world for 7 days. I don't think that's going to be edible by the time it reaches me.
And that might not be coming at all because I think DHL was saying like, yeah, we're way behind.
Oh, really?
I think anything over $800 they're not shipping at all right now.
Oh, God. Hopefully it shows up. Otherwise, I wasted $100 plus $40 shipping on junk food, which I guess is probably fine anyway.
Yeah. If it shows up late, do you really want that outside? Yeah.
I want the chocolate, the mayo. We'll see. Maybe I'll prank somebody with it, but yeah. Do you imagine like a box of mayo just sitting on your doorstep in like a 90-degree day in July? It'd be so gross.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what you're talking about. The Chinese consoles pausing shipping. Yeah. So is that like, I mean, that's a big range of stuff. That's like pretty much all that middleware, retroware stuff is all.
Yep. And I think they just like announced their new models and stuff. And then they're like, oh, but not to America.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's unbelievable. They'll find a route though, right? Like they'll backdoor it through somebody else who will get it in here. Like,
I mean, something's going to have to happen anyway. Like these tariffs just aren't going to work. Like
they're going to work. Come on, have faith. It has to get worse before it gets better again. Trust him. How much is your 401k down? I looked at mine again today. And that was a
No.
mistake. Every time I look at that, I get pissed. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I get tariffing China to some extent, right? Like to keep business competitive, like you almost have to, because like the type of manufacturing they have just doesn't exist here. But like, holy shit, like we're like it's literally at a standstill. Nobody can operate on the tariff scale that we're implementing on them or us. Like it just doesn't work. Like you were done with business. Like
you've cut off business. It is it's not even possible.
It's
I mean like
dumb.
10%. Like most businesses will be like, hey, if I'll pay 10% to have access to selling to America. That sounds like a great deal in the grand scheme of things. It's not as good as what I was having, but it's still a good deal.
Yeah, the 10% tariff is going to be like the new you cover the credit card costs at restaurants. Like it'll be everywhere and we're going to bitch about it every time, but like we're still going to be stuck paying it.
Yep.
Ugh.
Would you like to tip on your tariff?
Well, yes, please. Did you see the latest thing where they're going to start picking up the collection of like student loan debt, and they want to strip money away from people's tax returns, garnish their social security and their wages. It's just like, so you're going to cripple them in that way and then also make sure they pay like 100% more for goods as inflation rises. Like nice 1-2 punch.
From like, from not having to pay them for how long now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for people repaying what they owe, but jeepers. It's pretty funny. And sad. But anyway, is there anything? Let me see if we have a positive topic we can spin into. Sea of Thieves. I'll talk about that quick. I got to think of a segment for my new episode, Sea of Thieves talk. Like pirates, nobody gives a shit. Ryan's Corner. I don't know.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
Did you see that At Games has a virtual pinball of Sea of Thieves?
Yes, but it's only on the 4K.
Oh, okay.
And I do not have that. It's
saw you. I saw that. And I'm like that.
I still have not touched
made for Ryan.
My HD Legends one after like the internet issues just continued to plague me. Like it's like disappointed me so greatly that it just sits there not touched.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can fix it, but we'll see. Yeah, so I played a couple more good rounds of Sea of Thieves. You and I jumped in one with Nate. I don't know that he really liked it. He seemed like he was getting some of it, but then just kept asking, like, are we winning? And then he was just like, oh, I got to go. I was like, okay. Which I think that if that's your first session in Sea of Thieves, I think that's probably how you feel with maybe like the first 10 sessions. So can't blame him. I did hop on with my buddy Tom, and then actually Fraser jumped in on one session last weekend, like on Friday. We had just like a killer night, like 3-man brig, just like crushing stuff. Like everybody worked in unison. Like we took down some ships. Like towards the end, we were just like, any ship we come across, fuck them. And we were just like nuking everybody. And then Tom would be like, but they have white sails. They're new players. We don't want to scare off new players. I was like, nope, this is how you learn. And then we would just like blow them up. So that was really cool. And then I jumped back on Sunday night for a session, like just a duo one, me and Tom. And like, same thing. Like, I'm kind of hitting like, I mean, I just got owned tonight, so I shouldn't brag too much, but like, I'm getting to the point where like, I'm somewhat competent in the game. Like we had a brig with a full 3-man crew come up to us when we were at a full stop dicking around on an island. They made the first move. We hopped back on, fought him tooth and nail, like just wiped him out. Like just owned this crew. And then I couldn't hear him, but like Tom was saying, like the guys in the chat were like, whoa, this guy's really good. And I was like, nope, I'm mediocre and kind of drunk. I'm like, but yeah, just like, I don't know. It's starting to feel good. Like I feel like confident in the game now to an extent, getting into PvP conflicts. And I feel like that's where I got like a lot of anxiety with the game before. So it's like cool to kind of get to the point where like I have a somewhat okay chance of maybe coming out of this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not just the conclusion that like, oh, I'm fucked, which was like pretty much every encounter up until now. So yeah. So it's been a good learning and turning point. I'm still horribly inept at PvP, but I can win some now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still on the other side of that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, let's go around the island.
I mean, I've got how many hundreds of hours in there now? But yeah, you and I will have to get back in another 3-man session at some point, and we can link up with the R3 guys again too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, still loving that game. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's become my thing now. So
It's fun.
yeah, it's something.
Do you think how long do you think it'll go?
I think
They'll support it for really long.
Yeah, with the surge they got from PS5, it just launched on BattleNet, which I don't understand, but okay. I think they'll port it to Switch too, and I think that will be another big fan base that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet we'll see support on this thing for at least 2 more years. And then maybe they'll talk about a sequel-ish or what I was talking about with Tom, what they need to do really is just like do the whole brand new engine like Epic had to do with Fortnite, like just overhaul the guts, everything, upgrade it, make it so you can change it up. Because it's still got some problems. It's got, you know, some limitations too because it's so old, but I think it's got a couple years left in it.
It would be really cool if the world was, you were persistent in it, you know, where you could make your own bases and, you know, stuff like that too, you know.
Yeah, that's my biggest challenge with the game is like just the whole, you gotta load in, you gotta have a bear ship, you gotta get the resources. So it's like if there was something they could do to like fast track you as like a Pirate Legend player to where you could just hop in and set sail without having to deal with that.
Yep.
Because you really are limited then on what you can do. Because like you got to play almost an hour to get enough supplies to do like a fort ship, you know, like or a skelly ship or ghost ship raid, and you know.
Yeah, and I think that part is especially hard because you know you work hard for a while and you make a lot of money and get the different stuff, and then it's back to square one the next time, and it's like, well, what empire am I building here?
Right.
You know, you don't really feel like you're gaining anything in the pirate world.
Yeah, it does have that end game issue of like you're still just grinding away for same trench coat, different color palette. Like is,
but even if you said like, well, you were full of cannonballs right away, you know, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be an option that you unlock. And I do think that was originally intended in the initial outline of the game, but obviously been scrapped. But it's just such a good multiplayer experience where there's always like, you know, some great unique, you know, event that you experience together that makes it all kind of worth it. I mean, not every night, but some nights are great.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep talking about it because too lazy to find another game. So are we on to staff picks or Oblivion? What is Oblivion? Like the Elder Scrolls?
Yeah. Did you catch that today?
No.
They announced that they're remaking it.
Okay.
And then they announced it's available now.
Okay.
So it was live on Game Pass today. Like a complete, like pretty nice looking version of Oblivion.
Huh. Was that not playable in some form already? Because what was Oblivion on? Was that 360 or was that original? No, yeah, it was 360.
It was kind of near the launch of 360, right?
Okay.
Early 360.
And have you tried this out now?
I haven't yet. And that's like my one hole. I like never really played that one.
So you did like Morrowind and then you skipped over Oblivion?
Yeah, and then I did Skyrim and yeah.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question is like, do people need Oblivion when there's still Skyrim?
Yeah.
And there is supposed to be a sequel to Skyrim coming up. Is there not?
I mean, they
allegedly
announced they announced Elder Scrolls 6 in 2018, I think it was.
So any day now.
Yeah.
Any day. If anything, surprise dropping upgraded Oblivion just means that they're not anywhere close yet, right?
Right. And then
We won't give you time to get pissed off about this being here now. Yay.
considering how Starfield did, they're probably like, do we go back to the drawing board? What are we doing with Elder Scrolls again? Which is funny. I bought one of those fanatical mystery bundles.
Yeah.
And they always advertise, oh, you could win a really expensive game, like a brand new game, right?
Sure.
And I've never won. It's always, like a $5 game at most or something, like maybe 10. And I'm going through the thing, revealing the codes, and all of a sudden Starfield pops up. I'm like, what? No way. The one game that I win is like Starfield. Come on.
I mean, it's a major award. Argile. That's funny. I always look at those, but I just never pull the trigger because, like, I still have a Humble bundle somewhere with a bunch of our Resident Evil codes that I've been too lazy to just redeem on Steam. So I'm like, I hope these last forever because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, they're fun. This last one, the very first one that I revealed was Overcooked, which was pretty
anxiety inducing.
Yeah, I had to show Amanda that immediately. She was pretty excited about that, and I was not. But yeah, they're fun. You get some decent stuff out of them.
Yeah,
I play like 10% of them, but
Yeah. Did you look at that game that I sent you? Sounds like that one that looks like yours, Repo.
Oh yes, I've heard of this, and the people that I play, my nieces and nephews I play Lethal with.
Yeah,
we've talked about trying it sometime. We have not.
It looks like a slightly more polished but very similar game to that.
Yeah.
I was watching a Let's Play of it, and there was an object you could get that would like make your voice all distorted. So like everyone in the session was just like grabbing it, like saying weird shit and like putting it back down. It was pretty entertaining, but it looked terrifying though, like just stuff coming out of nowhere and just ripping into shreds.
Yeah, see, I think that might be the struggle because a couple in our group are like kind of like not really into the horror games. Yeah. The jump scare stuff. And I can't say I'm the biggest fan of them either, but I would definitely play them in the sake of good gameplay. But yeah, that might be there's stuff like that in Lethal Company too, though. So
yeah, I think you should check it out. It looked pretty neat. I mean, I don't know what the price is, if you get a good deal,
it's $10. So.
Oh yeah, that's probably worth it.
Yeah.
If you're bored with Lethal Company, like a slightly different flavor, I guess.
Yeah. I think we've been doing it less and less just because less people have been available. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then half the time they're playing Age of Mythology, and I really like the game. I just can't devote myself to like getting up to speed on that again.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I get that. Yeah. Well, staff pick time. I'll go with mine quick because I'm curious on yours. I know a little bit about it, but mine's pretty quick. I watched that new, well, not new. I don't even know if it's on. It must be on streaming somewhere. I watched it on Plex, so I have no idea where this is at in the availability thing. So I watched a pirated version. But Love Hurts. It's that actor who's like back, the guy who's in like the Asian kid from the Goonies and everything, who's like been on like his resurgence.
Oh yeah.
And he basically like I don't know, it's like a choreographed kung fu type movie where the premise is like hitman double cross his family, wanting to start a real life, so he like goes out. So he's like now this like really accomplished like real estate agent, and then like his old world is like coming back in. So it's kind of like these funny situations where like it'll be an office dinner party and like he's fighting with like a assassin who like specializes in like throwing blades in his office, and like they're murdering each other slowly while this is all like going on. So that sort of comedy. And there's like a little love story obviously tied in there with Love Hurts. Very good film though. I really liked it. It like those type of, I would say Jason Statham-esque or those types of films, like sometimes they overdo it and it's just like too many like choreographed fight scenes, not like enough little quirks to make it worthwhile. But like this really does a good job of pacing and like breaking it up. I also like that in the movie, his boss is like it's a reuniting of him and his Goonie co-star, because it's I forget, I can't remember the name, but it's like Sam from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
I forget his actual name. Somebody will be yelling at me right now.
Sean Astin.
Right? There you go. Yeah. So he plays his boss. So it's kind of cool to see them be like buddy in this movie again. And then like you look at him there, and like I was like looking at like screenshots from back in the Goonies. It's like, man, there's so much all there. Yeah, really cool movie. It's not gonna blow anybody out of the water, but like this is like a good cult classic. Like highly recommend checking out.
Yeah. Yeah, that one looked interesting. It almost seemed like a funnier. It's like John Wick with a little bit of comedy in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a great way to describe it. Yeah. It almost felt like some of the scenes felt a lot more like why am I so stupid? Who was the kung fu guy when we were growing up? Not Bruce Lee. Jackie Chan, yes. Yeah. They felt sort of like Jackie Chan-ish Corey. And I wonder like maybe if there wasn't like somebody in that camp that like did some of that. Or maybe I didn't look into it.
See, now you sold me, because that's really what we miss is like you can have fight scenes, but the ones that Jackie Chan did, it was always like some chair was involved or some like shirt that was wrapped up around people's arms.
And that's exactly what I was going to say is like there's a fight in the kitchen where like literally everything is a weapon.
Yeah.
Like including the fridge itself, which is amazing. Like watching an Asian man be hurled across the stage in a fridge is great. So yeah, check it out. It's very cool.
Huh.
How about you? I'm curious to know more about this. I know it's weird.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty popular games, and so I picked it up. It's called Blueprints. It took me about 10 hours before I figured out what the name meant, or the play on the name.
Yeah, when I kept hearing it being talked about on podcasts, I thought it was like print, not Prince. So I was like, what is going on?
But in the game, that's kind of what you're doing, is you're building a castle out. It's a kind of a roguelike where you're drawing and drafting different rooms in a floor plan. It's a 9x5 grid. And that part of the game is very reminiscent of board games. There's lots of board games that do that type of thing, like tile drafting, and then especially like, oh, there's 3 resources and they kind of do different things and you got to like trade them out or, manage how you're going to spend that type of thing to make it the best floor plan possible, right? And that's kind of the main gameplay loop is drafting that stuff and trying to fill out the room, the castle in a way of as farthest as you can. The whole plot is the main crux of the story is to get to the 46th room, and there's a whole shit ton of cryptic messages and little bits of information in every single room and puzzles that you all have to put together to basically figure out how you get into that room. And it takes you on all over the place. There's places all over the estate that you gain access to in different ways by figuring out different puzzles and stuff. I have not played a game like this in a long time. It reminds me a lot of Outer Wilds, which is probably one of my favorite games.
Sure.
I wouldn't put it on that level. I think Outer Wilds is very good at like the puzzles are the game and the story is the game. This seems a little bit more separated, where the drafting and that stuff is very gamey compared to the puzzles that are just layered on top of it. But it is very much I have a pad of probably 6 pages of notes on
really
writing things down and yeah. And I've technically beat the game, but there is so much more. It does a really good job of putting weird things in a room, and you're like, I know that means something, but I don't know what it is. And eventually you find out
Sure.
maybe one piece of information that might lead to another piece of information that puts it all together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This does not sound at all like my kind of game, but I can see why you're into it.
Yep.
What is the like? Is it first person as you navigate through the game, or like what? Okay, it
Yep.
is. All right.
Yep. It's first person. Yeah, and there is a certain amount of luck to it too. You know what
Sure.
rooms you're drafting and what doors are on each side of the rooms, because sometimes you just get stuck and it's like, well, today's run is just screwed, you know?
Yeah.
But usually you're like, okay, well, screwed, but what about this thing that I was thinking about? Let's go over there and try and work on that, figure this out, try and get a little bit more information. And yeah, each day you gain a little bit more. It's not quite like Outer Wilds, where by the end of that game, you're like, I know how this entire galaxy works. Like, I know why that planet is doing that thing. And I know how to get the sun there, and I know why it's resetting, you know, doing all this stuff, right?
Sure.
Whereas this game is like, I don't know. It's not even close to that level. It's just too separated that I really like the puzzle part of it, and I really like the drafting side of it, because it very much is a board game in that side. I just don't know if it meshes real well together.
Too extreme of ideas to really be a cohesive
Right.
unit.
Right. It's hard to focus on the drafting part and being like, okay, I'm doing this and getting all this done, but also try and keep track of what's going on in each room along the way. Usually it's pretty obvious. There'll be little notes or little pictures or something that, you know, you're getting different information. But it's getting to the point now where I'm like getting books that are like 30 pages long. So you have to read.
Oh my
A
god.
lot of reading involved too.
Interesting.
And I'm past the whole like, oh, I have to get to the 46th door. Now it's like, I need to know this whole family tree of this whole estate. I need to know how every country in this continent and the history behind it, and their sigils and their flags. And yeah, it's interesting.
So the game within the game almost.
Yes. Yeah. It's and I think it's still early days, because there's a lot of stuff that I think probably has not been figured out yet either, which is reminds me way back in the day of Fez.
Sure.
Do you remember that game? That had the same type of thing as far as note taking. I mean, in that game, you had to basically decipher a language, which is
that's a lot to ask.
Yeah. There was a lot of notes in that game, and I remember when that game came out, there was a lot of things where people just did not know what to do. I would love to go back and check, because I think there was a couple things in that game to get 100% where people were just like brute forcing it till they figured out what the combination was to get inside. Nobody knew the actual breadcrumb trail of the puzzle to get how you figured it out. I wonder if that's ever been figured out. But this game kind of has
a Reddit
that.
forum. So this is probably all over Reddit too, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
they're sharing ideas.
Almost every room you go in, there's geese, or there's top hats, or there's like statues of fingers pointing different ways. And I still have no idea what any of that has to do with anything, but it's got to be something. I mean,
right.
There's got to be something to do with that, but it's up there for one of my favorite puzzle games. I think it's just two very good concepts kind of butted up to each other more than it is a total game.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard several podcasts and people talking about it. I don't know. It must be on Game Pass. Is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm playing it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to never checking that out, but it does sound really cool. I just know that I wouldn't enjoy it.
The hard part now is that I don't know what I'm going for, at this
Sure.
point, and that I have so many like permanent um things that help you the next days that every run now goes so I can go pretty much the entire way. And so it takes a really long time. And then sometimes it's like, oh, I built the entire thing. I don't know if I gained any information this
Sure.
time. So now I'm spending a lot of time and not really gaining anything. So I'm really kind of losing track. And it's not going to be too long where it's just like, okay, what's the deal with this? I'm going to
It's
look
not
it
worth
up.
the
And
investment.
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
going to look it up and
I can
find
see
it. But
that.
what's the deal with the geese?
There's probably like a whole Reddit just on the geese and their deep meaning.
If you're having a good time with us at Weekend Rental, I think you might enjoy all the great geeky stuff found on the Geekade Podcast Network. They've got podcasts about games, music, movies, and more. Plus, if you order off their secret menu, also known as the Geekade Patreon, you just might find an exclusive movie podcast hosted by Ryan and myself. Check it out over at geekade.com. And hey, if you'd like to turn Weekend Rental into a true multimedia experience, our YouTube and Twitch channels might just be for you.
Weekend Rental, for anyone who's not familiar, it's a game we play for a given system. This time out, it's the PlayStation original, PS1. And we play the game and we give our opinions as to whether we would personally buy, rent, or burn that game. Burn meaning light it on fire. We went with an interesting one, a little known one, a game called Street Racer, published by Ubisoft. In doing some research after playing this, it turns out that this game started out its life as a Super Nintendo and Mega Drive game, where it is very much just in the vein of Mario Kart. And then there also happens to be a soccer mode that is omitted from this version. This game got ported to all sorts of systems, Game Boy even. But it makes me wonder if that original version didn't inspire some of what we know as Rocket League today. It seems highly unlikely given how shitty this game is, not to give anything away. But this PlayStation version is basically like, it is still just, it's on the PlayStation hardware, so it's obviously evolved from the other generations it came out on, but
Is it?
still just, it's still just trying to be Mario Kart.
I mean, it's still just scaled sprites on everything.
But it plays more like Atari carts, and it looks more like Atari carts with polygons. And if you've played Atari carts, you know that's not a good thing. Everything is generic about this too, by the way. Every character is like Frank, like he's a take on Frankenstein. There's like the sumo guy.
There's
like,
Biff.
There's Biff, the hot chick. It's just like there's zero personality. It's just stereotypes and like generic butt rock. Sometimes like even just like
Classical.
open source like music. Yeah, like not copyrighted anymore. It's public domain, so we're going to use it. And then all the tracks are kind of just derivative snot. And the control scheme on this thing.
Yeah,
so
it's weird.
It's basically like a mashup of Mario Kart and Road Rash. So you've got like the punch directionally buttons as your bumpers left and right. There's a dedicated boost button. There's an attack button, which
there's a jump button on when you press up.
Or there's a button for it too.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. Which did you ever play as Frank?
Yeah, he flies around. Yeah,
he flies instead of jumping, which is like super disruptive.
Yep. Yeah, this the one interesting part about this is it really lets you control the view of the game to the point where you can kind of race top down a little bit.
Is it even the same game engine? I think it's a completely different game.
Oh well, even in the regular, but even the
Oh,
regular,
really?
you can pull back, and
Really?
it's not like completely top down, but
Okay.
it's pretty far back and up here, and it really, in some ways, in some tracks, it makes it super easy to win
Okay.
that way. Because you still have the same controls, like your normal controls. But you're able to see the track much earlier and better. But
I didn't even know about that in the main mode.
yeah, yeah, and then like you said, there's a micro mode it's just RC Pro-Am in the same. I don't know if they're using the same engine. It
The
looks like
maps are
it's the
the
same.
same, but like
Yeah,
some of the gameplay elements are gone. Like the jumping's gone. Like if you get your
yeah,
turbo, it is really weird. Yeah, it's like from the start you choose micro or macro, and you're like, what is the difference? Yeah, it basically is like RC Pro Am or like sprint or like turbo off road.
yep.
It very much has that vibe, especially because you're like collecting nitros all the time. Um,
Exactly what you want on your PS1.
yeah, it felt dated when this was released. I'm sure it's not. When I first started playing it, I was like, okay, I could see this being one of those games that you'd be pissed off if you owned as a kid, but then like you would find your rhythm and there'd be like some redemption arc, and then the more you play it, you realize like, no, this is just getting more unplayable and unpleasant.
Yeah.
And like by the time I hit the sixth course in the first Grand Prix, I was like, I despise what I'm doing here. And then like, so let's talk about AI. So people talk a lot about
Mm.
how like Mario 64 is bullshit and there's rubber banding. So what this game does instead of doing rubber banding is there's always someone in first place, and guess what? It's never you. It will never be
Yep.
you. You will always finish second or eighth, and that's your lot in life.
Yep. You can
And it's
consistently get to second place, but
a
yeah,
hundred percent.
first place is yeah.
It doesn't matter what position you're in. As soon as you hit that checkered flag, that son of a bitch comes out of nowhere to slingshot past you at like the last second.
Yep.
And you just have to accept it. And then the point scheme too is like so stupid because it's like placement, but then it's also those dumb stars that you collect on the field. But if you're not in first, you can't possibly collect all the stars because they despawn on every lap. So like it's just like a double whammy where the computer just completely douches you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you get points for punching. I saw that too. But
But
even
Jesus, that's
so,
almost like a losing strategy. You have to choose. Like I feel like you
yeah.
have to choose in this game. Like, are you gonna do combat or are you gonna try to brute force these controls to keep you in like a second place position?
Yeah.
There's almost never like doing both effectively.
I mean, there's a reason that the list of Super Nintendo and PlayStation versions of the same game are incredibly short, because
Yeah.
it was already dated. I mean, I played the Super Nintendo one like you did for a little while too, and that's just doing Mario Kart. And Mario Kart was pretty early on too. That was
Right.
not a powerhouse on the Super Nintendo as far as
Mm-hmm.
graphics. And it does a decent job on Super Nintendo, but yeah, on PlayStation, when
Yeah.
you put in the context of a PlayStation 1, it's like this had to be disappointing as a child.
Well, and the PlayStation version suffers so bad too because the collision detection like grinds you to a halt, and all they really did with the PlayStation version is like add big polygons as like walls.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just like it makes the game totally worse. Like it is not an improvement, even if it's a visual enhancement. I use enhancement lightly here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this thing's just a turd. Like from the time you boot it up, like that intro animation, that was awful. Like a rabbit like walking out into the road, and then
Yeah.
and then let's talk about like the bombs you pick up. So like if you're naive enough to think that you're on a track and you're picking up a power up of dynamite, no, it's just a stick of dynamite that then puts a timer on your car and lets you know like how many seconds you have until you just inevitably blow up and there's nothing you can do about it, which is a great feature in a game.
Well, so if you keep picking up more dynamite, it resets the thing back to 20. So all of a sudden your race turns into I have to hit every dynamite. But at the end of the day, the getting hit by the dynamite is pretty minimal as far as like how
Oh,
much
right.
damage you're taking anyway. So because
Yeah.
I mean, this game is all just everything seems so loose on it. Like all the AI and everybody, including me too, they're just hitting every like patch of grass to cut through any
Yes.
shortcuts. It's the roads are a
Uh,
suggestion on this game.
right. And all the tracks are so narrow. And everything's like 10 fucking laps. Like, it's like, why?
I mean, they do take only
Why?
15 seconds or something like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it does get very repetitive pretty quickly.
And I like how by the second stage too, they've just like cemented their own canon by having their own version of um the I'm gonna sound like a complete moron today. I can't think of anything. South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. They just have their own
Oh
Mount
yeah.
Rushmore with their own like made up characters. Second, like you guys couldn't have done anything else. Like that had to be it. Like, what are we doing? And it's not even the right kind of rock. It's like fucking
It was Red Rock,
mud.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like stupid. Yeah. I really tried to give this the benefit of the doubt and find something to like about it. But the more I played it, the more I realized like there was just no redemption arc
Mhm.
as far as I could see.
The rumble is terrible. Like the rumble mode. Ugh.
Oh, I didn't even do that.
That's just like it's almost like a demo derby, but you're like pushing people out. You have to break the fences and then push them outside the fence. It's just a giant circle and you're just going around in circles. Imagine that with sprites. It's just not it
Well,
doesn't
and
look
in a
good.
game where like turning is more of like just something that happens on occasion instead of like something you control.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
wonder why they
even
kept that, but like or included that, but not the soccer mode.
yeah,
That's interesting.
which is, the soccer one was pretty good. The only thing it suffered from was it did not give you a lot of good field of view
Right,
of
very
where
flat.
things were, and like things would spawn out. Like if you're too far away from something, it just didn't show up. So I think they really could have kept the soccer thing in there and just had it been more powerful and more visible, and that would have been a decent game. But
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think there's a lot of things in this game where if they'd have just done some tweaks, this could have been like this could have been a mediocre game instead of just a shit game. But uh, and why something like this you would just continue to port and port and port over this many years too, and not like iterate on in any like positive way is mind blowing to me.
yeah, especially, I mean, when the game is aping a game from what, 91, 92
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
So I mean, Byron Byrne.
Yeah. Uh, the Super Nintendo one, I'll give the benefit of the doubt of being a kind of like a rent, but the PlayStation,
Right.
like we're doing the PlayStation, and that's a burn. This is just I don't know why they did this.
Yep. Yeah, I feel completely the same way. It's got no personality. It's trying to rip off a game that came out many, many years before and did it ever so successfully. And this just is insulting to the player all the way around.
Oh, could you imagine playing this right next to, like having this showing right next to Mario Kart 64?
Right.
It would be
Right. Yeah, and for a console that launched with like Ridge Racer and like how great that game is,
yeah.
like in comparison. And that was even rough, but yeah.
Crash Team Racing. I mean, there's good racing games on PlayStation, and
Yeah. Even in 1996, this was in rough state.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess that's another episode.
it is. This will be the sequel to Outrun Street Racer, Michael Bay.
Like Explosion.
Yep. They're gonna have all the original characters, the famous ones that are up on Mount Rushmore there. So
Yeah, and it's already got the dynamite, so that works well with his shtick.
yep. Well, you can reach us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Blue Sky, and make sure you check out the Geekade Patreon, because we also do a movie only version that we talk about a certain movie. This week, the Benchwarmers. That
Yes.
classic.
That'll drop at the beginning of the month.
Yep. So look out for that on the Geekade Patreon. But until next time, be kind, rewind.
Bananas.